We get a little bit of a break on Thursday, and then a couple more rounds of rain on Friday and Saturday. I think we have some graphics from the Weather Prediction Center that we can post up showing the risk for flash flooding. This is for tomorrow, I believe. Yes, this is day 2. So a marginal risk of flash flooding for a good chunk of western and central North Carolina, as well as the upstate and even into the Midlands of South Carolina. As we go to the next slide, this will be for Friday. The marginal threat still exists for western North Carolina and the mountains and the foothills, and just a little bit of the upstate of South Carolina. So it's going to be a very rainy week, end of the week here in western North Carolina. Another 1 to maybe 3 inches of rain on top of the 2 to 3 inches of rain that's already been happening here in western North Carolina and the upstate of South Carolina. So those flood concerns will ramp up starting tonight. I know there was a few flood advisories last evening in South Carolina. I expect those to increase in coverage on Thursday and Friday and Saturday as we have several rounds of rain to come in. And those rounds of rain are because of a stalled cold front that's over the Carolinas. And if finally, towards the end of the week into the beginning of next week, we're going to have a strong cold front that moves into the area and kind of pushes all this nastiness out of the way. But before it does that, I'm going to bring in Chris Jackson. Chris, you were watching the potential for severe weather to develop in the Mid-South and even maybe possibly in Georgia and South Carolina.
Yes, Scotty. Before we go into the weekend with the severe weather stuff, I just want to kind of touch base about what's going on tonight and, right now and into tomorrow. Currently we got 43 degrees in Columbia, and, going forward to tomorrow, it's going to be a really tricky forecast, especially with temperatures. Most everybody in the Midlands of South Carolina, we've been stuck in this wedge type pattern for it seems like 2 to 3 days. And, the projected high temperature tomorrow is 75 degrees, but I want to put like a asterisk beside that. And it's going to really determine the high temps is going to be determined by the how fast this cold air is able to get eroded at the surface from the warm air from the south. And as we go through tomorrow afternoon, we got this graphic here at 1 o'clock tomorrow, and you can see there's going to be a huge gradient set up with a little coastal warm front that pushes inland. And over a span of 30 to 40 miles, there could be a 30 degree temperature difference, with temps in the mid 70s approaching 80 in the low country, and temps Columbia North might not get out of the mid 50s, low 50s. So tomorrow's going to be one of the really funny days where it may be pretty cold when you start the day off, but by tomorrow afternoon it may get spring-like. But have no fear, because Friday the wedge is back. It looks like Friday, once again, the wedge is going to build back in with temps. Probably, I don't see 60 happen. I think it's going to be in the mid to high 50s on Friday, ahead of this cold front that we mentioned earlier, Scotty. And looking ahead of this weekend, maybe the first big severe weather outbreak is going to occur over the deep south. It looks like we're going to have a big mid-level trough set up with a nice negatively tilted trough at that. And ahead of that, we're going to have a surface low develop, and it's going to get some return flow off the Gulf of Mexico, which is going to really help to pull some moisture up into Mississippi, Arkansas, Tennessee, all the way up to the Ohio and Mississippi River valleys. And going forward with that, it looks like Saturday afternoon there's probably going to be a better than not chance of widespread severe storms with some tornadoes, maybe a couple strong tornadoes possible from the Storm Prediction Center's discussion this morning. So that's going to be something for folks in Mississippi and Western Tennessee to really monitor going forward to this weekend. And I'll kick it back to you, Scotty.
Winter's not over with yet. The Climate Prediction Center has issued their outlook for the end of February into the first part of March. And it looks like the cold air returns and maybe our last chance of maybe seeing something wintry move in the area.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely going to turn back cold again. And I say again because I feel like it's just been really cool and drizzly recently in Asheville. Over the last 7 days, it's rained 6 of those days. So, as Chris was saying, the wedge has really been locked in and just kind of making it some nasty weather. But yeah, cooler temperatures, the rain threat will continue. We're going to have anywhere from over an inch of rain in the next few days, and looking out into the next 10 to 15 days, kind of an ensemble mean of 2 to 4 inches. So again, keeping up the pattern from 2018 of just wet, wet, wet.
Yeah, that wet pattern definitely continuing with the potential of some cooler temperatures. If you're a winter weather lover, don't give up hope just yet. We may see another kind of a last battle per se as we enter the beginning of March.